Alright. There's a bit of stress going on, let's say. The chickens have finally come home to roost. I was hoping we were so close. We were so close to getting out of this week. CG nerfed my planned Darth Revan encounter, and I didn't really have a backup plan, and I'm stubbornly sticking with my guns for everything I wanted to try. Yeah, we got a Darth Revan to fight. It's, So here's the odds. I'm just gonna... Whatever. Let's just roll on into it. We'll get there in a second. Kind of a... You know, it's a fight. We have a huge mod advantage pretty much across the board. My camera refuses to turn on for some reason. Okay, here we go. Yeah, what's up, Red? What's up, Kwai? What's up, everyone? Yeah, I don't know, this matchup, on paper, is kind of whatever, right? Not to undersell it or anything. Huge mod advantage. We're even on Relic 7. I'm ahead on Gear 13. He's ahead on everything else. 7 mil versus 5.7. This is like your bread and butter matchup, right? This is what we usually fight. The one big story to me that kind of shocked me at first, I was thoroughly convinced. I actually went and triple checked this because I was so convinced. This person, in the last month, right? We had a 3v3 season 6, I guess now technically, weeks ago. As of his last 3v3 season, he was a 1GL account. And then in the last week of 3v3, he picked up Jedi Master Luke. And then in that period, he also picked up Supreme Leader Kylo. So based on the scouting history we had, there was a lot of unknown... Like, he was just kind of almost like a blank slate. It was like all of our scouting information just felt kind of useless suddenly. Although, you know, the player is still the player, their tactics are still the tactics, and we might not be seeing any of them. We'll see. But yeah, you know, the matchup doesn't necessarily scare me so much as his... Yeah, it's just a wildcard factor, right? You get 2 new power teams, and for all I know, he could be like, alright, suddenly it's defense time. He had, like, when he only had Rey, she was going on offense, which, you know, understandable if he's fighting multiple GL. There's just that question, right? Of, like, especially, like, when you pick up GL for the first time and you're in 3v3, you're kind of like, ooh. You know, maybe you want to try that Bastila Shan with a JML. You don't know. So I don't really know what to expect. We're not really seeing anything up front, which kind of actually does track with the history he had as of last season. I still think there's still probably potentially going to be something in rear, so we have to play around that, which is why we're at a bit of a pain point today. So, honestly, the defense is mostly the same. I noticed that last time we had a lot of characters just kind of left over from offense, and like, I still stand by that. I think that this defense concept is going to be incredibly difficult to clear for most players. And so technically those characters don't need to be there, but the logic that I had was in a situation like this where, for all I know, there could suddenly just be 3 GL on defense. I wanted to have some more power characters up top front. You can see teams that are potentially going to cost you banners along the way. Anything to try to even the odds in case we, you know, who knows. Round starts and suddenly I'm just staring down 3 GL bottom. Maybe we don't full clear, but maybe that also sets me up to try to be a little bit more ahead of him, right? That being said, though, I might end up moving towards like a JKL solution to DR. I haven't really played with that. Yo, Senate, thank you for the raid, man. Welcome, welcome. I don't know. It's because my normal gameplay has the normal overlays, but unfortunately, and setting up all of these extra tabs. Wait, no, it totally is. We just have it hidden. Let me fix that right now. Yeah, welcome, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I guess just to give a little bit of background, we have a couple of unique GL teams that have some very, very specific modding that, as of last 3v3 GAC season, I think they went through 2 weeks and no one was able to full clear them in a way that feels really promising to me. But at the same time, this past week, I was kind of just posting that core combo and then like 7 completely trash teams along with it. And A, that's not really my style, but B, again, we had some insane roster leftovers last time, so wanted to try to mess around with that. That all being said, though, this time, I'm not excited for this at all. Yeah, so as of match 1, basically, CG nerfed Bastila, and that nerf to Bastila was also a nerf to my counter to Bastila, because we depended on her debuffing us, and she just doesn't now. Sometimes there's a 50% chance that Bastila just no longer does her job, and A, that sucks if you're trying to use her, but B, I'm relying on her to give my Thrawn 100% turn meter, and now we're like on the clock for 20% guaranteed at most. I'm so angry at the Bastila nerf. Dude, I think it's one of the worst changes CG might have done in recent memory. And I know that's gonna, like, it's small on paper, right? But I really don't like RNG, and I don't get the motivation for the nerf, right? Could you explain the nerf a bit? Sure. So, honestly, let's just pop this down. Let's head over to Bastila for a second. So technically, like, the funny thing is, this wasn't actually a nerf. This was the way that Bastila was always written. She just never worked like this in game. And it's almost a little bit of karma for me, because I went and reread this ability for whatever reason about a month ago. And I kind of took note of this, of like, wait, these debuffs shouldn't actually be here. But honestly, like, I think that the way it was written versus the way that we had it working for 2 years or whatever, I think that the way that it worked was better, right? So basically, all of those debuffs, the, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 6 debuffs that we're used to her applying, she tries to fear the main target and a random other person, right? And then everyone else aside from those people immediately get the debuffs. The way this ability is written, this hasn't been changed, by the way, this is what it always was, said that those extra 6 debuffs only show up when the fear expires. So, easy example, raid bosses, immune to fear. Jedi Knight Luke, immune to fear. Probably why I'm going to move towards JKL versus DR in a little bit here, we'll get to that. But yeah, right, you kind of get what I'm saying here, of... I don't know if this was a raid motivated thing, because I can't, like, this wasn't... I guess, like, if you think of, like, Bastila against Rey and how you get the offense down on her ult sometimes, but Bastila's not really even used against Rey that often anymore. I don't know. And, like, if this was just, like, a raid motivated thing, why not just do, like, this? We have precedent. So much precedent already. I just do something like this. Where is it? Yeah. Just write a raid boss clause, right? So basically, the problem is, if it was just like, oh, if this person's immune to fear, then you don't get to try it. Like, okay, whatever, fair enough. We can work with that. The problem is... Let's go to Thrawnley now. We already kind of looked at her long enough. The reason why it messes with this counter so deeply is we get turn meter whenever they debuff us or fail to debuff us. That's important because that means that no matter what happens, no matter best RNG they get or worst RNG they get, in our counter, Thrawn was just going to get, boom, immediate, 100% turn meter, we're good to go. If Bastila hits the RNG fear on Thrawn and fails it, which is 50% chance to fail, right? Then there is no attempt on the other 6 debuffs. It's just nothing happens. So suddenly, we had a reliable source of a full bonus turn, and that's just not there. So I haven't gotten to test yet. I passed out pretty early last night. Just haven't gotten around to it yet. This counter might still work. You know, I don't think it will change our ability to kill Darth Revan. Right, specifically because if we're dealing with a situation where the fear tried to land on Thrawn, then that means that Vader wasn't feared. That means that Vader's about to go anyway. That means Vader's about to delete Darth Revan. It's fine. So now would you just have to mod Thrawn for tenacity? You don't want to resist the fear here. You want her Bastila to successfully land the fear, in my opinion. Yeah, the base 50%, but it's better than nothing. I don't think, like, for the most part, I don't think it's reasonable to try to tenacity mod against Sith Empire. But yeah, just in general, you know? I think I would rather... Well, whatever, okay. Honestly, let's just play it out. Normally, I hate leaving counters up to having an RNG chance, especially if it's a possible 15% fail condition. I absolutely despise that. But I'm pretty confident in my defense. I'm down to do this. Honestly, I saw Ian try this, and it actually looked pretty sick. This is on the more expensive side, but I think is a contingency. So there's a... Typically, if you're not familiar, I run L3 here. The thing that L3 does, you know, nicely is self-cleanse, right? So they apply shock, she can, you know, immediately get rid of it, and then she's able to retaunt. With crew, Ian used crew as a substitute. We bring the percent health resistance, right, on the Scarred unique. So Malak drains aren't really as scary for him, and also because Darth Revan will be dead, halt actually can matter. So this is more expensive, and honestly might end up becoming a maybe less optional alternative. Granted, mine is actually, you know, pretty slow. The other thing I'm worried about is his Malak is faster, I believe, than his Bastila, which means that when it's possible for crew to go, yes, that's the case. When our crew would be able to go, or more specifically, more likely, Thrawn would be swapping to crew here. Crew is going to be feared, so we'll cleanse him. He's not going to be taunting though, and that can make things get really, really weird really quickly. Is less than ideal, right? But still, I think let's just play it out. Like, odds are extremely weighted that it's just gonna look the exact same. And also, I haven't really used crew yet, so this actually might just end up being worse for me to try it like this. Maybe that's an argument to just stick with L3. Let's just do it. We don't need to get that out there, especially because I don't know that my crew has necessarily been modded super well to take this. Let's stick with the plan. Alright. 50% chance for Thrawn to get targeted, and a 50% chance for Bastila to fail. Okay. So this is the normal behavior, actually. So the way that this works is... it's a Relic 5 DR. I think we'll probably just go with a choke opener. Let's just pop Merciless Massacre. We lose the Corrupted Battle Meditation because it's a one-turn duration. Then we choke on Malak. Get some extra debuffs on DR. And he's done for. I flip-flopped on this decision. We can avoid Vader getting feared if we basic, but if we basic, we also potentially stop him from draining. It's like a 50-50. But like, if we damage him, and we trip him, and we don't get the ability block, then... not the worst. This is what we're trying to avoid. The Death Mark does actually give us turn meter, is worth noting. Let's see. Their turn meter is actually fairly low, so I think L3 will get to taunt naturally. And then we're kind of just into this loop. This is what the counter is like normally. Honestly, a lot of the time, you can even avoid Thrawn getting chucked like that. Ironically, I actually I paid really bad attention to my modding, like my primaries on Thrawn this week, so he actually has a crit chance triangle right now. It's actually very, very rare that Thrawn gets feared in this matchup, just because, you know, Malak gets the stacking extra crit avoidance over time, and Thrawn does special damage, so tends to be a lot worse. So we could swap L3. It's gonna force L3 to run out of her upgrades sooner. Basically, our main kill moment is when we get to next Merciless Massacre, and everything else is just playing around that moment. Yeah, that one crit avoid primary is actually making a hilarious difference here. So this is why we're avoiding upgrading L3 a lot, is because once we get to Mark 3, it's going to be a lot harder to secure her continuing to taunt. This might be a good time to just get out of this fight. This might not actually kill him. Depends. Yeah, it does. 51 banners on there. You have plenty of time to slow play it if you want to try to get everyone's protection back to full. In this case, I'm kind of content to just get out of the fight. So like that's the counter as it's always existed. Like, part of me almost wishes that we could invoke Murphy's Law and actually see and play out what's gonna happen on the stream, or just like have to try to wing it on the fly there. Right, like in that position, Darth Revan's gonna be dead no matter what. It's just like, how bad is it to try to scramble? Right, because you saw, like, Thrawn's turn meter went to about 40% with the Bastila Fear, and then once we hit 100%, the fear expires, we get all 6 debuffs, pumps him right back to 100%, and it's just like nothing happened, right? Being able to do that is so nice. I agree. I would like to try to preserve it. It's hard to say. The awkward thing here is that we might be in a position where we need to save Han if they were feeling fancy, if they wanted to try to do like JML Watt. And his modding does kind of support that. So typically I use Han Chewie here. I might be tempted to just run the mirror. And the mirror actually is like ridiculously good at like sabotaging and deleting itself conveniently here. We should be ahead. Sorry, I didn't remember what it actually was. 298. 298 without speed set's kind of not bad. Interesting. Alright. We run this in. Our Finn's probably going to be a lot slower. Wait. Oh, man. This is what we can have nice things. Okay, fine. I've done JTR here before. Obviously, we get to disable Finn from doing his initial combo. It doesn't resolve cleanly, though. We could just take a gamble. I don't know. So much of his offensive style so far has been so... He's been a very cheesy player. I don't say that like degradingly. It's just like, I don't know that we'll see more than one JL in the pack. I think we can just play this way. Might regret this, might not. If like worst case scenario, if he did happen to post Bastila JML, we can just split into a 2 attack. Less efficient, but eh. Alright, looks like Wedge is gonna outspeed Poe here. Don't mind if I take it. Whatever reason, whenever Finn's last man standing, he gets a little bit bloodthirsty, but I think we got the full banners back off of that. Yeah, we'll take that. I honestly, I'm gonna write about it. Note to myself here. We do need to bump up Finn's speed a little bit because we did have Wedge almost get completely killed a couple of times. So this is sort of the typical old man evasion cheese. Kind of cute. We have the Droideka evasion unique as some additional soft synergy. How slow are we talking? It's pretty slow. Pretty slow Relic 5. How much respect do we put on this? We could just go for JTR and go for the Mind Trick. If we don't hit the Mind Trick on Droideka, I feel like we're gonna feel a little bit exposed. You hide that old Ben team. It's honestly not a bad team. I would almost rather it messes with my strategy a little bit too much for me to be able to post it. But honestly, you could do a lot worse than this. It's very, very easy to look at this and to imagine people just kind of bringing in whatever and getting completely shell-shocked, right? Tier 12 Spirit maybe gonna tax you a little bit less than it could. But, you know, that Droideka could very easily sneak in a couple of turns there. Alright, up top, I believe we've already seen Grievous, so we don't want to nice this or this. Crew could be interesting. Halt is basically counter Old Ben because stun people cannot taunt or cannot evade. We're kind of down to scraps though. Feels really weird to leave Sith Trooper out like this, but I would almost prioritize Officer here over. A, for the additional speed. We're not really... This crew is maybe seeing faster days, let's say. Maybe Nest, actually. Is Nest even that bad here? I mean, he has potency up, but his debuffs aren't really Nest's concern. That's... okay, yes. That... yeah. You win. We're off the Nest train. We could just fin this. Is there anything I would feel like pressured to want to fin up top here? Not really. So be it. Honestly, I kind of view this fin team. People ask why I hold it for offense, and I kind of see it as like what gas is in 5v5. This team isn't a team that you necessarily feel the need to hold for any counter in particular. Aside from, like, again, this team's original purpose was to be able to solo kill a standalone Rey in situations where you knew you weren't going to one-shot her or you didn't have a GL handy. So maybe there arguably could be a situation where I regret not having them right now. But for the most part, this is also a team I feel... It's a strong team. I feel pretty okay spending right now. We could get some RNG evades, I guess. Could end up feeding them a lot of turn meter, but we should have a fairly easy time picking up the kills here. Old Ben being nice and thoughtful for us, hitting us with the non-damaging initial combat. This is why I have a Fin on tank mods, by the way. It tends to be pretty good for protection cleanup, or for banner cleanup, preservation. Pretty overkill, all told, but I do still believe. Is this like a weird Hux lead? Nope. How scary are you? Alright. We've had some close calls with Trey lately. Let's see. You're not really tenacious. I used to have my science speed memorized, but honestly, going back in time like this... Okay, we're still slower. Yeah, I think we run this. Alright, we actually get to GL a team, though. Who are we GLing? He is 3GL for offense. I'm not sure what the implication of that is, but I think suddenly we need to flip into efficiency mode as much as possible here. We'll nest this, no problem. It's Rey against Grievous. I've seen people do the solo. This is 3v3, so there isn't as many sources of turn meter gain. So Rey isn't actually going to stack as much, which could actually matter. Granted, it means Grievous isn't stacking as much as well. Although if you assume it was Grievous plus Newt, he's only really missing Magna Guard as a drain source. It would be wild to try to do a GL solo and have that be the thing that ends up losing to be the match, but I think that's still probably the team most in need of respect. I think that's probably going to be the game plan here. Our sign is fine tank-wise. I don't know if we're fine. Oh. Wow. They actually get the mass assist call initially on Scion, but we fail to actually land enough pain that they got to ignore this and go for Trey. Still worked out, though. We should be pretty much set from here. He is going to have a cleanse that maybe they could get off of Scion again here in a second. Or we could just take out GBA. You know, I'm perfectly fine with that option as well. Alright. So a little bit lucky and then a little bit unlucky. And then we swing all the way right back around to the luck zone again. Not bad. It's a nice get out of jail free card. Completely agree. Honestly, I would probably feel more inclined to post it on defense if I didn't feel so good about what we already had on defense right now. So, yeah, you know. I completely understand why people post that team on defense. When I first started playing 3v3, I was like, you know, I was trying to like lowball that team a little bit. Just completely smacked in the face. Completely regretted it. I think it cost me a match even. So yeah, like I respect that team plenty now, but still. Just for me strategically, I think the offensive choice makes more sense here. Nest, don't have a plan yet, but don't really need to. Yeah, we're just spray this. I'm pretty sure I selected it, but I'm just gonna double check to make sure. Alright. So I guess we're supposed to cast Lifeblood initially to get to the first whirlwind once. Oh right, they just don't have a taunt. That was anticlimactic. Okay. I don't know what I was expecting there. Yeah, I mean, sure. If we can keep our purple protection long enough, I think we could walk out of here with full banners. Yeah, this is exactly what we need. So we still have full protection right now. We're back at full health. But now we just need to make sure that we kill B1 before we run out of purple, and I believe this should be max possible. Just for the style points, I guess. Why not? Yeah. That was... I guess I don't know what I expected there. I didn't really think about the fact... I feel like this, to some degree, has to be why you post Magna Guard, but honestly, I don't think it would really have changed that fight at all, even if it was Magna Guard. Right. The second whirlwind still came around pretty early. Okay. We got a Hux with a turn meter block. A question mark of who's going to feel best against it. I guess we're probably just supposed to eliminate the guarantees first. Work our way down from there. Ness hasn't faltered here yet. I don't think she's going to today. Can take a while, depending if we get impatient or whatever, but Nest and Biggs are best buds. This is canonically accurate. Ah, the loop finally ends. Unfortunate. Honestly, I think I haven't really gone this route, but I think we could probably just auto basic on Biggs for a while. I see no reason why not. I still think there's probably a case example where I do think I probably need to, like, check the wedge specs a little bit, just to make sure he doesn't have, like, some possible potency to get the defense down on her at all, or something. They have a potency, sure, but again, just the idea of people willingly giving their Mon Mothma team a lot of potency deliberately, I don't think it's likely. Alright. We're kind of just chilling for a bit. Honestly, what Big seems to die fairly easily to counterattacks here. Kind of unsurprisingly, right? Considering we just counter him nonstop. So I think we're probably just going to let this ramp for a little bit. I don't even think I'm going to bother with the first special for a while. We'll give this another 80 seconds and then go fishing, I think. Have Blade and I ever matched in GAC? We have not. Although this coming week, I know I said this last week, and then it didn't happen. All of my GAC joins have been so slow. Like, so late. Ooh, this might be it. Okay. We got it fairly early. I literally have pretty much consistently every single week have joined GAC with 5 minutes or less left. So, you know, I've heard of, like, big time gaps between when certain players have matched up, to the point that I don't think the window's, like, that narrow. But there's still, like, if most of the main good players are joining in, like, the first 8 hours, the widest gap for matchmaking that I've heard is, like, 14 hours. So I want to try, you know, I feel pretty confident. We got, like, 5 changes I've written down to make for next week, but I do want to try getting those changes pre-primed for tomorrow and then just joining immediately. You're one of those conspiracy theorists? It's not a conspiracy theory. CG confirms that matchmaking is done over the course of the join period. That being said, we do have evidence that says it's not that tight, but I don't think it's that. You could go like 2 lines of thinking with it, right? You could either say the people who care about GAC are joining it immediately because they're just excited for it, or they're like me and they're like overthinking everything, join at the last minute. I fought Ando a couple of times. I fought Lazy Turtle once. In terms of recognizable names, I think that's about it that I can remember. Oh, Fisk as well. Yeah, I mean, CG official word is that it should make a difference. If anything, we've seen some counter evidence since then, but still technically true. And for what I'm doing, being an extreme outlier, I think that we might see some more interesting matchmaking with me joining earlier. That being said, though, I'm pretty sure Blade's about to pick up Citadel Emperor, and we are still on the strong hands train for now. God, even, like, I have spent probably almost a full month of farming these from normal nodes, and we still aren't really making much headway. And honestly, I need to be hitting these. I need to be buying these on-site from weekly shipments, because I assume we're getting Galactic Legends by, like, mid-end of March. But if it does end up that I go for Citadel Emperor, I need 800 of these. So that's not happening unless we're consistently buying these from weekly shipments. It's unpleasant. Yeah, you know, we're doing okay. We're hoarding a bunch. We are prepared for whatever's coming next, most likely. Gear 12 Plus and Gear 12 is a different story, but I'm working on that as well. Alright, this is a weird... Is there any conceivable angle here I can think of? Not really. It's like L3 Django soft synergy, but I want to say that it might be light side restricted on some cases. It's not. Okay, so maybe just hopefully trying to secure that Django lands a guaranteed missile turn 2. There's an angle. It's what I do for normal energy refresh versus spending crystals on gear. I don't really spend crystals on gear for the most part unless I'm working on a deadline. So for most of the time, actually, for a lot of this past month, I've been working on this node. I think this node I'm actually almost tempted to make a video on, by the way. Not to talk too much inside baseball or whatever. This node is actually just sick. This is Relic 8 salvage. This is Relic 5 salvage, and also just, you know, broadly needed. Right, like, this is, like, cheap for crystals, so it's kind of a weak sell. You know, you can buy 20 of these for 300, but still, right? Just, like, as everything in one node. And then, depending on where you're at, you know, I was completely out of these, and you need a lot of them, right? So I think that this is a surprisingly very good node. That being said, though, I'm just farming stun guns now for the most part. I probably need to check finisher count just to see how I'm doing there, but alright, we need to make some more progress. It's weird because I feel like we're kind of out of the obvious fights now. We can JTR our bounty hunter team. Is there any reason we need to be worried? This is a fairly tame boba. Yeah. I'm down. Why did I just go to Scandal for Ray? First of all. Yo, Tyler, what's up? Opponents have yet to full clear. I'm in the same boat, but for less interesting reasons. People just don't seem to want to attack, unfortunately. We hit 1 burn and 0 exposes. It's tough. Alright. We didn't get the cleanse on R2. Honestly, in this case, might even just call R2 to assist here. That is the worst. Wow. I have never seen a Dengar have so much performance issues in one, like, 10-second chunk. What did I just witness? He did his best. 0 deaths. We only had 1 foresight on R2, by the way, I'm pretty sure. We probably had one on JTR. We like, had to have had one, but he's having a day. I'm just gonna go the control route. Let's try to keep our protection. We are doing a little bit too many basics, though. I'm thinking about this. We do need to make sure we get to Illuminated Destiny. Tanker had a Brain Blast? Yeah, it's something. See? Okay. Some redemption for him here. Ooh, this Illuminated Destiny should have waited, maybe. One that Illuminated Destiny wasn't gonna deal with 2 detonators anyway. Didn't really matter. Okay. I don't know if it's realistic. Yeah, that's about what I expected. We got the 2 full protection back. It's good enough for me. So where does that leave us now? Don't we have like JKR and stuff still? Alright, we could start throwing some weight around. Grievous probably doesn't want to fight against Dooku. Almost definitely doesn't want to fight against Dooku. Is that triple crit chance? It is. Interesting. Wait. Okay, I saw the wrong first order. This is like more of a tax team than anything. Could run away if we'd let it. We have, for once, I actually have strong bounty hunters on offense. I don't know if that. I don't actually know what I want to do with them, though. Honestly, they've just been such a defensive staple for me since I got them that... Yeah... Does this even sound great against Django or against Dooku? He has a Dispel. He has a Dispel. Shock over here. It doesn't sound lovely. I don't know. What's best speed and potency stats for Vader to be viable versus GL Ray? Generally, okay, so it depends on what mods you have to work with, because the answer is almost always that you kind of give it whatever you can. This is my old... This is what I used to run. This is probably, honestly, one of the more accessible sets. Typically, you don't actually want to be on crit damage set here, but crit chance primary is going to be the easiest way to get to the crit chance you want. Technically, the minimum is 75% that you're aiming for. You know, Holdo, Ray, crit avoid arrow, a lot extra crit avoidance flying around, so I think a lot of people are happier with more than 75% these days, but like, just as a minimum. The way that I typically run him now is with double crit chance set and a potency set, but generally, the potency number that you're looking for is close to like 95 to 100. Also kind of the you're always happy with more category. If you're not against a high tenacity team, then Piet can, of course, help him enough there that you don't really need to worry about anything else. But yeah, I would say 260 plus is the ideal. 250 plus is okay if you don't have the bandwidth to get to 260 plus. But 75% crit chance, bare minimum. Aim for more if you can. Either 30% crit damage from the set, or more ideally, you go 2 crit chance set with the crit damage triangle is statistically better. And then a potency set. Where are we using Padme? I feel like Padme against Hux here isn't going to feel fantastic. Padme against Dooku, actually, should feel okay. Plenty of counterattacking there. We can kind of hang with it. Is Extortion can end up being a concern, though? They could, I guess, like a Magna stun. I posted Anakin on defense. I had a concept I wanted to try. So if the whole idea of Luke lead is that Shaak Ti is fast, and if the whole usual counter to Shaak Ti being fast would be to shoot her in the face with Han and stun her, then my idea was we chuck in pretty crappy, but you know, whatever. We chuck in Anakin to proc a bonus turn after Shaak Ti gets shot, so that he would just start the Luke train off anyway. Just an idea. I don't even know if that's worth it, but we do have a weird Padme as a result. But I think they should still be able to handle this. There's less courage to be able to make here, but... eh. Oh, the Boba question? The thing I've heard is, generally speaking, if you are trying to use bounty hunters against DR teams, then yes, you do need to pay our taxes. We'll behave. You do need to be dealing enough damage to be able to get Bastila down in time. Honestly, I don't really know whatever happened to Bosklin against DR. I know Bosklin is more of a soft counter, and I'm assuming, you know, certain quality DR teams will make them miserable, but I feel like there's still room for that counter to exist and be fine. It's a little bit unfortunate that Newt keeps on giving taxes to Ahsoka, because Ahsoka basic would be perfect here. We really don't want GK to get taxed while he's stunned, but maybe we do it just to get it off of GK now. We get some free protection with the counters. The damage he did to Ahsoka right now doesn't really matter. Get the riposte off of him. Dooku can't really do anything to us at this point. Obviously a bit annoying that that Newt is just faster than our team is generally. But we're fine. Yep. Ooh. I forgot that he still had to revive up. Is it even worth trying to pay down taxes at this point? We kind of... Let's not play around with it. We did just lose 2 extra banners because of that, though. I went for the kill shot, forgetting that we still had the bonus turn reset left. Honestly, I think Dooku was a resource. I feel like we maybe should have left Dooku alive. Just taking the early reset kill on Newt, and then finish Dooku, and then come back to Newt. Alright, Dooku was helping us in that match more than hurting us. Haven't seen Padme on offense in a long time. Again, we kind of just have everyone on offense who isn't a part of the core defensive strategy right now, so definitely some strange faces. Grievous against Hawk just isn't fun. I feel like B1 is going to have a bad time against this crew team, though. We do get to combo them pretty well. I mean, this works pretty well in 5v5. Is there any reason why we would regret using Watt here and not somewhere else? We have JKR for an easy cleanup on the team. I think we got enough tools. I don't think we mind spending Watt here. I guess, slight misplay there. The regen tech on GBA did need to go down, but because they had the Earl health coming out, we do kind of need tank tech on Brute on the sooner side of things. We could just cleanse him now anyway, though. Alright, now that we have the tank tech, we can also just hit the special. Pretty good damage. I swear... Oh, it's because... God. So, the dynamic when you're fighting Supreme Leader Kylo is when you remove turn meter, they gain protection. And so, Watt assists, you know, tend to give the target some protection back. So because the debuffs were giving that protection back, to me it looked like we were fighting SLK somehow. That's a weird small thing. I don't know. I don't think we use this yet. Watt's about to get back to full protection. Crew doesn't really have any way to reach them. It's probably time to hit this now. Alright. Full banners. Yeah, like honestly, wait, excuse me? Was it just like some equalize at the very end? But the equalize doesn't happen until enemy turns. Who didn't have full there? Okay. Sure, video game. Let's just ignore the fact that we had regen tech on GBA and we had tank tech on Brute that just got him back to full. Don't worry about it. Sure. 2 protection banners indeed. We probably JK this team. This team could be a pain, but this is a non-damaging first turn, not really a damage source, and only damaging on second turn. We really just need to have a solution to burn more than anything else. That's about it. Alright. Yeah, this should be pretty whatever. Alright, that part's over with. Almost kind of wish I went with a strategic advantage opener. He misses the Zeta. Appreciate it. Alright, now we can start hitting dumb buttons real quick here. Pecans. You're not going to counter me, so I like you. I guess we had strategic advantage flipped, so that was technically true anyway. Using the special there just so that we get Hermit Yoda off of Max. Or we get Grandmaster Yoda off of Terminator. We need an assist call on Revan. I don't know if he has Splash. Or we could just kill him. He was less tanky than I was hoping, considering his buffs. We needed, like a pass to Hermit Yoda wasn't gonna get us there, but I guess our Grandmaster Yoda is, like, chocked to the brim with crit chance, so even though JK lead in 3v3 is a lot worse, we were still, I guess, always gonna drop him there. Big question right now is basically who isn't going to get burned for massive protection loss? The answer might be that you can't escape it. I know I have an unhealthy interest in this team, but I kind of want to run this. If we can run this with a protection restoration expert, which I think probably isn't going to exist for us here. So probably just a tank then, I guess. Wait. It's not a tank. But isn't Sith Empire actually kinda, or Sith Empire, or Sith Trooper actually kinda sick here? We pick up the Sith tag. Normally I use Sith Empire Trooper here instead. We'll get a cleanse here. We'll get some extra assists. This is a greedier version, but they have a taunt ignore anyway on their biggest damage source. Asajj swinging at us on turn 2. Let's try this. I mean, we don't really have synergy with EP lead for the most part. Like, we're not. He doesn't debuff, but yeah, I'm curious. That or we're just supposed to boss glade for the easy protection regen. Entirely possible. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Alright, we get a slight frenzy loop built with this team. I'm surprised. I guess chunky L3, even with most of her protection gone, is still going to be considered... Or not even considered, she will be bulkier than a Gear 12 Django. How? Okay, finally. At long last. Alright, she's out here enhancing. We're out here killing. We're not really regenerating much, though. We don't really have that many debuff sources. That's kind of a problem. Yeah, I mean... Do we just accept? Yeah, we're not getting any more debuffs. No one's getting protection back. Alright, fine. We'll press the die button. I don't know. Maybe I do regret. I think Palpatine would have had some fun there, right? L3 is like a Palpatine co-conspirator. She's just feeding you that Terminator immediately. Maybe I said like Palpatine AoE stun would have been a little bit annoying, but like Palpatine can control Asajj pretty well. Okay. 5-star bomber, but he'll still be fairly tanky here. We can pretty easily just toss in Ebon Hawk here, though. I don't think there's too much to think about along those lines. I think probably GR should be favored here. We have Plo Koon. We have Ebon Hawk. Comfy tools all around. In fact, could probably even just go 2 reinforcements here. I'm gonna go 3 because I'm a coward, though. Don't worry about it. Hashtag ships expert. Still haven't really decided on who I want to give Terminator here. We don't want to shoot at TFP just for possibility of feeding them an evade. I guess it is just Vader. If we could get Bomber to go first, then I would. Yeah, I said this would happen last time, and it didn't. Yeah. That was the Vader damage I was expecting last time. I was just unlucky, I guess. There's a target lock bomb we'd like to see. Okay. I don't expect we really need more than one. Just in case, I guess. That hunt is unfortunate because it means that we're not going to get to do the Vulture Droid turn first before. This is also equally unfortunate because it means that we don't necessarily get... We don't get to hit Silencer this turn. Let's just go over here. Excuse me? It's interesting fuss football you got there. Whatever, he wasn't really required for the full unlock, right? So maybe he just doesn't have it built out. 264s, I'll call that a happy landing. Yeah, 666, why not? It's actually probably technically my highest of the week. Yeah. Okay, I mean, all in all, still not really the highest score, I would say. Still not really the most efficient, but I guess we'll see how he performs. Let's see. Oh, I need to move from Arc. 1 second. I guess that's kind of just it though, right? It was kind of a scary setup, but kind of a quiet ending to it all. Who am I joining here? Alright, I guess. Unless anyone has any questions, Gar not used. Look. We were going through some dark times when Gar was seeing the most usage. Not to say that Gar can't see usage in the future, but I feel like CG has to make the first move there, right? I guess this would be a better screen to be on. Let's see. I wish there was a verbatim guild search. There we go. Alright. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we were definitely going through some dark times. The nuclear times when, everything went on defense. And many teams died to bring us our offense clears. Whatever. I think I'm more predisposed than most to have an open mind for Gar Saxon being viable. Am I giving a few tips for your account? Sure. Hang out for a few minutes. I think links should be available. I don't think they should be locked, but I'll keep an eye just in case. I assume you have a swagaga. Over here, we'll get this over here, we'll get this pulled up here. Best place to do this would probably be... Alright, fine, probably on desktop. We'll do it. My code is 637-452-783. I don't know how easily Google's gonna pull that up. Oh, it's the GG URL. Alright. So what would you say you're looking for here? Because I think when it comes to roster reviews, that's a hugely important thing about it. Granted, I will say I haven't done them that much yet. Let's see. That's probably as good as the formatting's gonna get for swh.gg. Sure. Alright. So let's see. We're working with double GL so far. Ray plus SLK, not bad. Pretty standard looking. High end, I assume you're working towards JML, but if we filter by Rebels, where are we at? Okay. Pretty close then, I assume. Who's like a straggler you might still need? Is there even anyone really left? Like, you got the JTR from leftover from Mothma. You got, I think you're really just down to like select levels. I don't think I saw Hermit Yoda, but we're filtered by Rebels. Oh, probably Lando might have been missing as well. Nope, you got Lando. Alright, so you're like on the brink of JML, about to hit your next character power spike. How are we doing down here? Since these are probably forbidden? I assume so. I don't have that option specifically enabled, but I assume that they are by default. So are you looking for a review of what you got so far and where you're about to be? Or are you looking for a review? Ooh, this is a nice mod. Very nice. Or are you looking for opinions on where to go next? Because the where to go next answer right now, I think we're far enough into this meta that the boring but only reasonable answer is we're probably in a wait and see holding pattern. It's either going to be a follow-up on Beskar Mando or it's going to be some filler GL season. Odds suck most, do you think? Let's see. Not bad. Lacking % offense, but that's still pretty solid for a roll. I see nothing bad there. Unfortunate that you missed, but like... all in all, you hit the stats worth hitting. I mean, so what are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11... So we're at about 48. I mean, we're about even on 20 plus. 3, 6, 9... I mean, 10, 25 plus? I don't know, I mean... Let's, like, what's a good litmus test here? Let's filter for, like... say, damage set cross offense primary. What's up? You're in about as bad a shape as I was. I still relatively am. Your next means relocating mods to slice, to be honest. The only real relocate recommendation I think anyone can reasonably give right now is like Kylo into hold. Kylo just to try to secure some extra Sith Raid income, or not Sith Raid, Challenge Rancor income. And then from there, probably hold for, I mean, whatever. I guess you specifically, since you're about to, I assume, pull the trigger on finishing JML, maybe you're not really necessarily worried. The concern for me, where I'm going with this is, you know, I'm holding for possible new GL, and I would say 75% chance that CG is going to require at least one Relegate character in there, in the requirements somewhere. There's no guarantee on that, it's pure speculation, but I would not be surprised, right? We had Relic 7 requirements in the initial GL wave. Relegate exists now. I don't think that's unfair. So for my position, it's like... It actually sucks for me, because like I could relegate Kylo right now. I just got the materials to do it last night. But for me personally, with my account, I took a Relegate Vader first. It's fun. I enjoy it. It's not really necessary competitively. And now, like, based on the timing, if we're assuming like late March, something shows up, I don't think I really have time to be able to spend this. So, just a weird position to be in. But yeah, if you're gonna take any Relegate, Kylo, pretty much the only real answer for now. Unless you're doing something ships motivated, in which case you're probably just going GK. GK, maybe Anakin ship, Bistan SRP if you're a degenerate. I don't really do investments for ships personally. I try to get by with the bare minimum needed to succeed. Let's see. I don't really need the triangle filter for that. Okay. I mean, I see where you're saying now. I kind of agree with you. You need to do what I needed to do. I've been doing, and we're starting to stabilize and recover, but I mean, honestly, I think the biggest thing right now I would say is like you need to kind of focus on hitting your 6 dots on the mods that might necessarily deserve it. Like this crit chance roll is unfortunate. You kind of lost a roll here, but you have an 11 roll speed off of a 2 hit and a 0.9% offense off of a 2 hit. This mod, depending on like where are you at on like speculative mod gambling right now? Like how many options do you really have left? 21.4, 21.4, 21.4, 21.5, 21.4. So you're just, like, yeah, I would hit this. You already tried this one, so you're kind of working your way down the line. Ooh. Some opportunity for spice here, which I think you can kind of tell yourself already. You're already kind of hitting that. I had another one like this, very, very similar. I don't know. I wouldn't say your mods are that bad, but you have, like, your speed stat, depth stats, I think are pretty par for the course. I mean, what's your GP at? You're about the same GP I am. You're about the same mod stats I am. We both have room to grow, but like 1025 plus, 4820 plus, I think you're doing okay on mods. I agree with you though, that if there's a spot that I'm like gonna harshly critique your mods, I thought that I was like embarrassed about the state of my mods, and we were very much in the same boat. I would recommend just doing what I've been doing, which is just going on a damage set binge for a while. I mean, what's your... You might be a victim of the same practice I have been as well. Let's see. Are you a crit damage set addict like I am? Maybe. I guess we need a side by side. Seems like you might be. We were getting down into like the 10s by down here, right? It was something that I had a huge issue with in my sets for a while as well, is I was always focusing down crit damage sets because crit damage is pretty core to a lot of what I'm doing. But, you know, not every character necessarily needs a crit chance set anymore, but for most of the time you are going to be plugging and playing those in, and can't really afford to neglect those as well. And like, yeah. I mean, let's see. Are there any spicy stragglers we can spot here? I kind of agree at leaving that one. That's like a maybe. Honestly, your depth might be so desperate that you could try to hit this one more time, but this is like... This is a really rough roll to land on. Not the greatest roll either. Used to farm speed a lot. Yeah. Not a bad habit, but like, at some point, you do need the depth. I'm like, I mean, just out of curiosity. Let's just go protection primary. Let's just see. Yeah, this is, I guess speculatively, let's try adding health, not necessarily. Okay, we're doubling. Yeah. And then you're kind of, if we just go back to like general high speed, you're kind of on what I call ramshackle mods. I mean, this is like super high synergy. This is fucking fantastic. I got nothing bad to say about this. Honestly, I would even say the percent protection here is better than flat health. It's just, flat stats are just so, they're going the way of the dino that I would even say that the percent protection makes me happier than a health stat would be. Even though, like, obviously health, 3-piece, but like, I think this just makes this mod better. This mod is just sick. But then you get your health potency. I got one of those as well. Like, offense set health primary, got plenty of those sitting around. I think the biggest hole in your collection, I feel like, is just synergy. Of like, if you're just trying to build like a good attacker or a good dedicated tank, granted, I'm not gonna say, you know, defense set protection primaries don't necessarily need to be on 6-star, right? I mean, you did this one, honestly, probably even a little bit of waste, but I've got a couple like those. Like, if I was gonna say, like, and I'm not even necessarily saying, like, fill in your defense first, but I would say, like, branch your projects out into, like, pick up a collection of damage set, like, good damage set mods. Tenacity is so niche that I don't know that you really need to worry about it that much. Maybe something to keep in mind down the line, but, like, that's such a far-removed problem, right? Like, here. right? You want to be able to look for like stuff like this. If you're gonna focus on like tank stats, for example, I think you would focus on damage stats first, just because generally speaking, defense is more of like a luxury in a lot of cases, I think, but you need to be able to field the good mods. Like straight up, your account honestly is almost, I would say, in like an emergency status for just lacking general 6-dot crit damage triangles. The count there looked way too low. I haven't checked your health primaries. That could be whatever, let's just go crit damage. Okay, so like yeah, you have one synergetic set. Health, you know, health can go on Han, health can go on. It depends on the situation. Like JKL, if he's going with JKR, generally still needs some crit chance support. Not always. But yeah, right. This is very, very spooky to me. Of like, you look at 6-dot crit damage triangles and you're staring at 4 health sets, 1 speed set, 1 tenacity set, 1 crit damage set. That's a little bit wild to me. And like, here, I'll show you, like, to give you a comparison, because like, I still would say I don't even really have that many of these. But this is something I've been working on the last few months nonstop. Oh, I don't have my mods equipped. This is gonna be a very weird moment for a second there. But honestly, especially, I'm kind of glad that it showed up this way, because this is actually very, very close to what my mods used to look like. This 20 plus speed wasn't here. We just had like a we just had this bad boy. This, where is he at? This was the best it got. Yeah. Wait, no. Even that one. Yeah, it was this one. It was the 18 speed, but all pure tank secondaries on a 4-roll 18. This is good living right here. We had this one. We didn't have that one. We had that one. It went 18, 11, 9, 6, 5. In terms of 5 dots. And like, you know, this is a super specialized mod. This one is actually pretty sick. Especially if you chuck it on Grandmaster Yoda. I'm not going to talk shit about this mod. This, you know, fits on Spy fairly well as well. But like, even then, right? I was just like, it felt so necessary to have enough 6-dot crit damage mods to be able to field that's why mods like these that would otherwise, especially this one, like this should scream desperation to you if you see a mod like this. Was just like the crit damage crit damage primary was just so lacking in depth that I was just like, okay, we need stats to be able to shove around more meaningfully. And then, you know, I've been working on a lot now, so we had the crit chance in. And suddenly, I mean, we're still mostly on crit chance, but like this, I think could have an interesting lifespan at 6-dot. Where are we at? Actually, now that I think about it, I guess a lot of my crit chance gains have been other slots. Huh. Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, I see a lot of where my account wasn't where you were, and I'm like trying to dig myself out of that hole. Made some progress, not quite there yet, but you are in that exact same spot, but almost even worse than where I was. Like, we definitely, like, you shouldn't have to be sweating when Darth Vader modding or suggestions roll around, and suddenly you're just like, you know, like, I guess technically if we're looking at crit chance primary, then we're looking over here at crit damage set. Honestly though, I would still prefer, the real good way to do it would be with this crit chance primary, crit damage set. And it's like, this is okay. We're not seeing offense here, but like this, it's workable. The speed is fine enough, but like you're pushing down your offense stat a little bit. Not that Vader's like the be all end all, right? But just to give you an idea, you lack flexibility in a way that I would feel a bit uncomfortable with right now running the account. But yeah, I mean, you say you've been farming speed, I assume. Plenty of good stuff to show there. Yeah. Probably better on speed death than I speed set depth than I am, and also still some solid room to grow. Plenty of 4 rolls left. Yeah. Looks healthy. I would hit the 21s before the 20s personally, unless you just feel specifically pressured on your square. I don't know if that's. You have no idea which mods to slice or anything. Do I have this set up yet? We do not. Alright, I have a... whatever. Honestly, I've almost wanted to update this, because I feel like my video editing has gotten a little bit cleaner. I keep on seeing mistakes that I made in there, like editing-wise, but the information's all still valid. This is my technique for farming mods. I think it just makes mod farming faster and more enjoyable, just because you're not... It gives you a framework to look at everything through that isn't a headache. But B, honestly, the biggest, nicest side effect has to be a cell screen that looks like this. It's very, very hard to be out of a cell screen that looks like that, right? Because the moment... Alright. My mods are actually flooded because of LSTB, and I haven't really gotten everything back in good shape, but okay. This is what happens during my LSTB weeks. Alright, let's say we just farmed 10 mods. Before we even, like, look at them, honestly, we can actually just go into the cell screen and be like, alright, tenacity primary, crit chance, protection primary is not really in the market for those anymore. Don't need them. Crit chance, unassigned, DCBE. Alright. What's up? Kind of a specialized mod. No speed, I think, kind of kills its use case. It has a theme going on. You could almost say like Grandmaster Yoda with Kiadi Mundi, but I don't think it really... It's not something I would want to work on right now. But yeah, the whole idea is we're looking for matching secondaries for the set type. So, in my case, I tend to lean greeter these days. I look for 3 minimum. Just for slicing efficiency's sake. But it's also landed me some really, really sick looking mods lately. So here we go. Squares are actually particularly challenging as well, obviously, because honestly, the kings that I'm looking for the most in percent offense is up here. But, like, I have found candidates of varying slice quality. Hit these 2 today, got 1 hit on and 1 hit off. I mean, yeah, that's what I expected. This is why, like, I tend to focus on matching secondaries the most, just to try to improve these odds, right? This had a 75% chance. We got unlucky. It hit the 25% miss a couple of times. Honestly, like, with the 6D through A farming system, I'm actually pretty inclined to still hold on to mods like these. I don't really sell triple matches anymore. Just in case we reach a point where 6D through A becomes more broadly accessible. A mod like this can still easily have a second wind. So, like, I'm not necessarily selling these anymore. Do we have anything else? Probably the grays. Close. Very close. But yeah. I mean, you can imagine going through, I'm constrained on inventory size right now while everyone on their mother is still unmodded. But, you get the direction I'm going with this, right? Is like, it's just a modding method that tries to limit it as much of the headache as possible and just make it incredibly easy and straightforward to go through everything. So just slice the 421 and 20 speed, I guess. If you, okay, there's synergy rolling and there's speed gambling is what I call it. So, like, for you don't even really have that many crit damage options. I don't know. Let's see. Do you just have any, like, aha gimmies lying around? That's funny. What do we have? I'm a bit confused here. thought we were searching for percent offense as well. Is this not always searching for all of them? Or is it just doing like the most matches first? But this is... Huh. I'm not sure what's happening with Spurt right now. Mods like this are close. Like when it rolls like this, not exactly usable quite yet. More of like a 6D candidate. This one's pretty alright. Percent offense I put a lot of priority on these days and it doesn't have it, but you know. Yeah, if I could say like examples of mods that I'm looking for, just to give an example. Honestly, above all else, I just kind of care about speed and percent offense and crit chance. Flat offense is kind of whatever to me. Like this mod, I was super happy to pick up recently, as an example. Came in 2 matches, 2 mismatches, but it pretty much never missed. It started off as a blue, I want to say, and it hit, you know, speed twice, so I just kept it going. Is this the mod stream we've been promised? That's actually, honestly, what this is going to be, because it needs to be dealt with at some point. I just need to... The reason why I think I'm screwed right now, technically, is because I went back to an old loadout system with, like, you know, my bounty hunters are unmodded, my imp troopers are unmodded. So, like, if I went from LSTB back to my 5v5 GAC remod, I think I'd be super set right now. I think we could just take all of these. But I'm stuck in this weird landlocked spot where I'm on some old modding, but I would have to remake those changes to be able to get it done. So, but yeah, I think we got enough mods banked up, and I haven't even done the mod refreshes for it today. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I think we could have a huge ol' 4.18% offense is basically equivalent to a flat 418 offense on a character like JKL. I mean, what's his base offense? The breakpoint where percent offense pulls ahead from flat offense is... Let's compare the scaling. I used to have this stat memorized. It memorized, but honestly, the real TLDR just ended up being that percent offense is just straight up better. If a character is Gear 13, let alone Relics, then odds are extremely high that that character would rather have percent than flat. I forgot I'm on a desktop share. I hope I didn't show anything sensitive. I don't know. But yeah, basically the math on the general scaling is I want to say that we're on 1.5% for percent offense. So let's say as an example, Jedi Master Luke. Ignoring everything else, just taking the offense gain is getting 63 equivalent flat offense for a 1.5 roll. Oh wait, yeah, 0.5 going up to 1.5, assuming max roll. Then flat offense typically lands you at about 46, landing up to I believe about 50, if that gives you an idea. And 4220 physical damage, like obviously we're ignoring the elephant in the room, which is that Luke is a special damage dealer. But just grabbing a number, right? Because 4,000 is fairly close to the number that you're looking for, but even then, that isn't enough. Like 4,000 isn't even the breakpoint, and like 4,000 is really, really low for Gear 13. I mean, let's see. What does it take? Maybe like 2,800, maybe? I guess we're lowballing a little bit. It's more like a 33. Yeah. And 33 is insanely low, right? Like 9,000? Like, let's just do the quick 9274 times 0.015. That's your offense value compared to the flat 15 or whatever, right? My HK mods seem really good. Let's check a look. This rolled all right. Still a little bit slow, but perfectly fine. You're missing about 1% offense here. To give you an idea, you're looking about for, I mean, the max is about 1.5% per roll. Technically a little bit over, but I just look for 1.5 just to keep it simple to remember. So this could have been, you know, like 4.5, 4.6, 4.7-ish. Landed at 3.5, but again, it's all about what you have. If you don't have better, then you're still happy to see this mod. I would say it has some potential for 6D. For me, I have been going heavy on the speed gambling for 6D, so I haven't really been going for synergy rolls yet. But yeah, any triple match like this or any quad match that you have, super solid 6D candidate. As long as it's rolling well, I think is the criteria that's going to matter the most over time. Kind of the same story. Rolled a little bit low on the percent offense, but like, I mean, this is an easy example of what I would say you easily just 6D this at some point very soon. Well, for me, my general game plan is I'm speed gambling the like 4 roll 21s, 4 roll 20s. I'm already kind of wrapping up with them. And then I'm immediately going to mods like this, right? Because think about it this way. No matter what happens, it is physically impossible to get a bad roll with this, right? So the only real point at that point, or the only real concern at that point, becomes roll quality. So like we have some missed potential already. We're like a little bit shy on crit chance, but not really that much. A little bit shy on offense. This isn't some insane roller, but this is still, we're not that level of mods now, right? We're still gonna, I would say, this mod's worth your time. You know, it's one good roll away from becoming a super sick mod. And it's already a super solid mod, but just like, there's potential there, right? We have 4 more possible rolls. There's a lot of potential left in this one. But yeah, so think of it in terms of like stat brackets, I guess, right? Is look at it in terms of the set. How well does the primary fit the set? The goal of the set. So like, offense speed held is niche, but it does have a purpose. It's clunky with examples like this because HK is only really specialized for offense, right? Like this mod, it's okay. I'd prefer to see like flat offense down here or something. And then depending on the character, potency can flex in as a last stat. We go with the 421 and then synergy. There's no, that's just a personal choice. Like, I go for speed gambling, but the biggest reason I'm going for speed gambling is because I've gotten lucky with speed gambling. That's the reason why I have speed mods for days on here. Plenty of people, yourself included, I saw this in your mods, right? I mean, I've started to miss a lot as well, so like my luck is catching back up with me. But like I went in and I saw the gold 22, the gold 22, the gold 22. It straight up is gambling. There's no guarantee. Yeah, the blue 21. You have 2 more attempts for it to redeem itself, and like none of the other rolls here. I mean, it's got a niche at least. It's doing something. But like this mod, you're basically in a 50-50 for this mod, right? This is like one of the fun exceptions. You can find mods that are both speed gambles as well as synergy rolls. This mod is an example of this. Pretty much no matter what it hits, you're feeling good about it. Honestly, I wouldn't do it soon, but you could even 6E this mod, or 6A this mod at some point and not feel bad about it for the most part. Again, not priority. But yeah, this mod. Very, very easy example. A speed gamble, but also health set, double health options, and percent offense is a perfectly fine pickup as well. Especially, I think I completely agree with your choice here. Yeah, really easy to feel good about that mod. You think your defensive mods suck even more? I agree. But I wouldn't call that a emergency as much as I would call the crit damage an emergency. Yeah, this is you're pretty much where I was at, and you didn't get quite to the point of desperation 6 dots that I did, but like you're pretty close. I would absolutely suggest, in terms of mod farming, go to mod challenges, go to crit damage sets, go to crit chance sets. Take a month or 2 there, or just until you feel like you're in okay shape. Enter the hyperbolic time chamber and walk out with some some more relevant sets. Honestly, like you could 6 dot this one. It's not an amazing mod, but you could do a lot worse. But yeah, you really do need that extra crit damage bump. Keep your characters out a little bit. Is it offense better on the triangle with all the crit immune stuff going around? Good question. Yes and no. Right? A lot of the crit immunity tends to be conditional. On top of, there's also more dispel than ever. On top of, it just depends. It really depends on the team and what they're looking for. I tend to be in the unique position where, I mean, my percent offense on crit damage tends to be so high that if I'm looking for offense modding, it still tends to just be better for me to go crit damage sets rather than offense sets. I have been working on patching up my offense lately, fixing that up. But if it just gives you an idea, right? What you said is technically correct and situationally true, but I don't think we're in a position where it's just like, crit damage is impossible now. Right? Plenty of dispel sources. We are seeing more crit immunity more and more. Armor obviously added a big source of it as well, but even if crit damage doesn't always work, I think it also just tends to make the moments where it does work more important or more impactful sometimes. Or you have moves like SLK poke, which are just going to dispel while they're doing it anyway, which also has become more of an increasing trend. But yeah. Yeah, I think if you're looking for like a synergy role to go with, this triangle has some potential in it. It had one bad roll so far, but all in all, it's got some life left in it. It's more of a redeeming mod than a dream mod right now, but pretty good odds for it to become something, right? You hit speed, suddenly it's a 15 speed, CD, easy to feel good about it. You hit percent offense, you're in Pain Town. Crit chance would probably be the worst feeling roll out of it, assuming that you're gonna hit one of these 3. But again, this is a mod that, like, you have these stats with that extra crit chance. You slap that on Grandmaster Yoda, he's gonna have a great time, right? You know, we're not. That being said, Grandmaster Yoda doesn't necessarily always fall into a damage roll anymore, especially in 5v5. But like 3v3, mine has a mod exactly like this on right now, and plenty of characters are looking for mods like this. Spy, very, very easily transitions over to Spy, right? Just stuff like that. What is the modding for Luke, Guest, Luke, Watt, and JKR? You're talking about the arena team? I generally just go a damage medley. So I have like first fastest and second fastest saved. I usually go second fastest on JML. If your shard is all JKR leads, then going fastest tends to be a little bit better. Are we gonna run into capacity issues? Not quite. We're getting there. Man, I was feeling so good about my capacity before 3v3 plus LSTB rolled around too. We were in such a good spot. I even did some extra spring cleaning. We were so happy. There it is. Man, even as I was about to show it. So, for gas, I have a blend of some pretty fast mods. Not all of the fastest, like we could go for like a 25 speed crit damage up here. It is stolen at the moment for JML. Honestly, I could actually probably update these. This one I'm pretty sure is on Jedi Knight Luke as well. If I was going to respec this, I'd actually probably go even faster on gas, because the way a lot of JKR mirrors tend to play is I really enjoy having my JKR, or my gas, getting ahead of their JKR. These are just some of the original loadouts I saved, but yeah, I think even a faster focus. Like, we went down here for, you know, a little bit of extra crit chance, but I think going up here would actually feel even better. Type situation. Good example right now, my offense crosses are miserable. Are still, like, easily my worst attribute so far. We're starting at 15. We're going down to 14. Kind of okay. This was a recent pickup as well. We're going astray real quick, falling off of matching secondaries. We're down on the 10 speed, no matching secondaries. And then it's just all downhill from there, right? This one's actually kind of okay. It's not terrible. Speed set on gas seems pretty annoying. For 3v3, it absolutely is. With the JML lead. That's the team that I've been using that people have not beaten yet. It's not bad. Alright. I don't know if those are good answers for you. I hope that gave you some good stuff to work with. I think I'm probably good to call it an evening there. Yeah, I don't know. I hope that was useful. I definitely think that you have some good room to grow on mods. Again, your speed cap, you're doing pretty solid. I think you're perfectly on track with a lot of other people I've checked at around our play level. You're doing fine there. But just when it comes to the deliberate, we need a good tank, or we need a dedicated damage dealer who's, you know, on point. We gotta tidy things up there a little bit, for sure. Well, yeah. All right. I think we are gonna call that an evening. You all do agree. All right. I don't know where I stand on the Vader mod, or the Vader counter to DR video yet, so I've kind of just started working on the LSTB for clones. LSTB 101 for clones. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Yes, Sniper. What's up? There's a Patreon coming. It's coming soon. It's actually coming very soon. Potentially alongside the next video. Within the next video or two. That's I have been planning that out the last day or so. I don't have a firm answer yet, but I've given myself permission to go ahead with that. But also with that coming comes a lot of extra stuff I need to get set up with the Discord and improvements rolling around. So we're gonna have like an infrastructure week for a week or two there. Yeah, we're getting there. Just keeping the momentum moving. This, man, I had so much momentum going to this 3v3 week, and then CG released that patch, and I just derailed for a good couple of days there. I'm gonna be honest. It was just a weird feeling, man. It's like, all right, time to set the record straight with this counter, and it's gone. It was a mood. You're gonna keep harassing me? I'll hold you to it. Because there's no reason it should have existed way before. I don't know. I feel guilty about that stuff. Whatever. It's fine. We're getting there. Alright. Thank you all for stopping by. Yeah. Hope you all have a good rest of your evening and a good rest of your GAC rounds. I hope my opponent attacks. I've been waiting for anyone to try to beat me up. It just hasn't happened yet. We'll get there. Alright. Have a good one. Peace out. It does feel weird. I agree.